If there's anyone out there that knows anything that would help capture these people that did this to my daughter, I would very much appreciate them coming forward. Every day is difficult, every minute of the day is difficult, and we just hope and pray that these people will be caught.
So being the left one first?
Yes, the left one first.
Today, Johnson's family members were fingerprinted by evidence technicians so they can separate them from prints taken at the crime scene. 4 people on bicycles tried to rob Johnson at gunpoint while she was sitting in her convertible. She pulled her own gun on them, but they shot first, killing her and injuring her passenger.
We're still following some leads. We do have some fairly good evidence, but haven't been able to link that up with a particular suspect. There's a lot of crime lab work still being done.
Tammy Johnson was a popular and decorated employee of the sheriff's office. Her room is lined with certificates and awards from her elementary school days as a safety patrol to her most recent job trying to get the jail accredited.
Literally, responsibility was to write almost all the policies and procedures for 3 divisions. Replacing her is just a significant task because of all that she had done.
Johnson's mother, sister, and brother-in-law all worked with her at the jail. They have not been able to return to their jobs since the shooting.
Tammy touched many lives, and I just hope and pray that her memory will live on.
She'll never be forgotten. Never.
13-year-old Thomas Thompson is the accused trigger man. He refused to talk about the possibility of the death penalty.
About this, get out my face.
Also indicted for first-degree murder today, 14-year-old Eric Johnson, 14-year-old Thomas McMullen, and 16-year-old Eugene Edwards. Another example, the state attorney says, of juveniles allegedly committing hardcore crimes. First-degree murder is punishable by either life in prison or the electric chair.
Are you seeking the death penalty?
We have not made a decision on what will be sought at the trial, and the decision on the death penalty will be made after further investigation of the case.
Chief Public Defender Bill White, whose office represents the 13-year-old, said, quote, "It shouldn't even be considered. If there's any rational way to impose the death penalty, you don't impose it on 13-year-olds. 30-year-old Tammy Jo Johnson was a veteran corrections officer who was off duty when she was gunned down. She was sitting in her convertible in the parking lot of a West Side bar when the suspects approached her on bicycles in a robbery attempt. A passenger in her car was also shot and injured. Today, Johnson's family members and the surviving victim waited outside the grand jury room for the indictments to be returned.
We're pleased with the decision that the grand jury made, and we're very confident in our attorney.
The teenagers are also charged with armed robbery, attempted armed robbery, and attempted first-degree murder.
I understand there were confessions made in this case.
I have no comment about any statements made or records.
Prosecutors say 14-year-old Thomas Thompson confessed to killing off-duty corrections officer Tammy Jo Johnson last October. Police detectives testified that Thompson first denied any involvement, but finally admitted he fired 2 shots at Johnson as she sat in her convertible in the parking lot of a West Side bar. The defense contends Thompson confessed only after being questioned for 12 hours. Today, Thompson's grandmother testified that she asked police to have an attorney present while her grandson was questioned.
I said, well, if you're taking him back downtown to be questioned, I want to be present, I want to be with Thomas, and I want to try to get him some type of attorney.
But Thompson was later questioned that night alone, and that's when he made his confession. The grandmother also said Thompson is a slow learner and can't read fancy words. Prosecutor Bernie De La Rianda cross-examined her.
He can read the word shoot, can he?
Yes.
He can read the word kill, can't he?